Good morning, everyone. It's time for Coffee and Crochet with Sarah, which is me. Well, welcome to my live video chat here on Facebook. Those of you who are tuning in on YouTube, if you'd like to catch the chat live, you can find that over on Posh Pooch Designs Facebook page, 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. I hope everyone remembered to spring forward. It's so funny because that 1 hour always messes me up. Does it mess you up at all? Well, I see a lot of you popping in already. Good morning, Susan and Michelle, Marlene, Tammy, Kirst, Vicky, Mary, and I'm so glad you're all popping in. The first thing I want to show you is this brand new mug that I received. Check this out. I just want to sip coffee and crochet. Is that gorgeous? And look at the little heart. It's yarn with a crochet hook going through it. I got this. I actually ordered it myself on Thursday evening, and I received it yesterday in the mail. Can you believe it came that fast? Not only was it fast, but it is adorable. Now, if you would like to purchase this particular cup, you can do that from this company. I'm going to put that right up close. It's called the Running Frog Studio, and I'll put her link underneath the video, both on Facebook and on YouTube. The Running Frog Studio. She's on Etsy. She also has a web page. I say she. I don't know if it's a he or a she. I didn't bother to ask. I just saw the cup and had to order it because I thought it fit in great with our new Coffee and Crochet with Sarah. I just want to sip coffee and crochet. So everybody, let's clink in for the day. Clink. And like I said, I'll pop that link in. If you're on YouTube, it'll be in the notes underneath the video. If you're watching on Facebook, I'll just stick it there in the comments for you. You'll also find it on the blog. I'm going to put her link on the blog. The cup was, I think, $9 or $9.40, something like that, and then shipping. So it was definitely worth it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I just have to show it to you again. Isn't that the cutest thing? I just want to sip coffee and crochet. And it's on both sides, not just the front. It's on the back and the front. So others can see it and you can see it yourself. I just love it. All right, so that's that. I got a lot of things to talk about today, and I'm really glad you're all popping in early. Let's see if I missed anybody. Tina, hello. Michelle, Sarah, Talana. I hope I'm saying that right. That's a beautiful name. Mary and Vicky. I'm so glad you're all here. I really have a lot of things on my desk today that I want to talk to you about. We're going to talk a little bit about blanket sizing, and it's a question I get often, and it might surprise you that I don't really go along with the norms. You know me, I'm a rebel at heart, and I'm going to do my own thing, right? So most of them are pretty standard, but I've got a chart here that I made, and that will also be on the blog. You can go to the blog and just copy and print that off and have that chart if you want to. You may not agree with my sizes, and remember, these are just my opinions. Anything on my Facebook or my video, it's just my opinion. You can certainly think other things. If you like a different size better for what I do here, that's totally fine with me. That's the neat thing about crochet and yarn. You can have your own opinion about, for instance, if you prefer to do a magic circle opposed to, say, the chain 5 and join, that's your prerogative. You do what works best for you. All right, so I want to make sure I see everybody, and then we're going to get right into our conversation. Good morning, Jerry and Dawn and Kathy, Kimberly and Grace. Let's see, Melissa, Dawn, Liz, Jane, Tina, Margaret, Rita, Karen, Liz, Tina. This is Tina Grease, not Tina Louise. I love Tina Louise's name. I always tell her that. It's so funny because I was watching Gilligan's Island the other day, and it was so cute, but it was hilariously silly. And I remember when I was growing up, you know, when you come home from school, there's always like a rerun on, and it was always either Gilligan's Island or Love Boat. And I still love both of those shows. Kids are missing out not getting to see those. We need to get our kids to see those because they're hilarious. The silliest humor. All right, let me see if I got everybody. There's Susie, Samantha, and Kimberly's waving at me. Hi, Kimberly. All right, now I'm going to click over to my other screen. And so I get lots and lots of questions about sizes. I'm going to use my crochet hook to kind of point, just make it a little bit easier. Now, when you're making a lovey is not intended to cover up a baby. It's just a little blanket for them to hang on to. So I usually make mine about 12 by 12, which that is the standard. When you're making a preemie blanket, you want it to be a little bit bigger, but not a lot bigger, because basically you just want to lay it on top of them. You don't really want to tuck it in, because when babies are preemies, they usually have lots of cords and things that have to be fiddled with a lot, okay? And so an 18 by 18 inch, and all these are in inches, by the way. I put that down here. The blanket size are in inches and are my preferences and may vary from what others are doing. Alrighty. So these are all in inches. A stroller blanket, you want to be able to tuck that in. All right, and so that's why it's bigger. It's about a 30 by 36. It works great to be a little bit of a rectangle, so you can lay it long and tuck it in around their legs. That works nice especially if you're out and about and your baby gets tired and you want them to lay down in the stroller. You can tuck that around them nice without it being too big. Now the swaddle blanket, I like it to be a square. And so I make mine about 36 by 36. That way you can lay the baby in the corner and wrap them up nice and tightly and swaddle them. All right. The basic receiving blanket's a little bit bigger, and it is also a rectangle a little bit, just a few inches, 36 by 40 inches. And then you go to the toddler blanket, and it gets quite a bit bigger. It's 46 by 40. Again, a little bit of a rectangle. You know, by 6 stitches here, you can, or 6 inches, I mean. I talk in stitches, but we're actually talking in inches. Now, the lapgan or wheelchair blanket, you can see it's 36 by 40, another rectangle. And that's because, and I learned this because my mom spent a few of her last years in a wheelchair. And I learned this, that it's nice to be able to fold it in half and set it on their lap. But if their legs get just a little bit cold, you can drape it down onto their legs. My mom was in an electric wheelchair for a little while, and this worked great. Now, a throw blanket is about 55 by 60 inches, and you can see that's considerably bigger. Then you have your twin size, which is 60 by 90. Then your full, which is 90 by 90, which also, I do the full size as a square because it's a little bit bigger than a twin and a little smaller than a queen. All right, let me scoot this up a little. And then here's your queen, 90 by 100 inches, and your king, 90 by 110 inches. Now, these are blankets, not comforters. If you're going to make it a comforter, it's going to be the top of your bed. You're going to want to add some more inches on the width to make it wider to come down over the edges of the blanket. But this is basically the sizes that I use. Now, some of these might be similar to what others do, and some of them may not. And again, these are my preferences of what I like when it comes to blankets. You know, the lovey is something they just hang on to, so we don't want it to be big. But the king, we want it to be huge so it can fit over that bed. And again, I'm going to click back to my front camera. Again, these are not bedspreads. These are blankets to put on the bed and then put the bedspread on top when it comes to the twin through the king. What I didn't know they were still making the full-size beds, because if you go in and purchase a mattress, it always goes twin, queen, king. If you buy sheets, it almost always goes twin, queen, king. And so as I was going through my old stuff, and because I've had this for a long time, and I think it's on another blog that I did, and so I was looking for to try to find my measurements for the bigger sizes. And I remembered that there was a full size. I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot about that size. But if you're going to make bedspreads out of these, just add extra inches on the side. And the bottom line is this. Everybody likes their blanket a different size. If you're going to throw it on the couch, you probably don't want it to be king size unless you have a major big couch, right? And so this is just a preference, kind of a guide you can use to help you know what size. Most questions I get have to do with the baby ones, the lovey, the preemie, the stroller, the swaddle, and the receiving blankets. Most of those are the questions that I get on those sizes, and these are the sizes that I like to use. All right, so you can go over to my blog. I'll put that link, like I said, because I'm going to have the link for the jumping frog. Is it jumping? Running. Almost, I said jumping. It's running frog. That frog is running, not jumping. Anywho, I'm going to have the link to that on there also, and you can click that same link, and it will take you to this chart if you want it. All right? All right, now I've got a couple of other things I want to show you. The next thing I want to show you is some yarn I received this week from Red Heart, and I'm super duper excited about this yarn. This is their new amigurumi yarn. It's a really hard word to say, and I probably said it wrong, but it really just means little tiny stuffed animals. And these are so cool. They sent me 2 of them, and I'm real excited about what I'm going to make with them. They are a number 1 weight. I was really kind of surprised because I thought they were a 2 or maybe a 3, but they're a number 1. And each one you get about 3.5 ounces. And it also comes with a pattern. Like this one, you can make these 2. Let's see. They look like a narwhal. Oh, they're both narwhals. You can make 2 with this one cake. These are cakes. I was going to say skein. They're cakes. This one is the super cutest thing. You can make 2 hamburgers. I was thinking, carb-free, fiber, high fiber, meat-free, calorie-free hamburgers. Wouldn't this be fun to make for play food for your play kitchen? I have a play kitchen here for my grandkids, and so I do like to make play food. So anyway, I'll get back. I'm not going to be making what the patterns are on these, but they do come with a pattern. Like I said, it's a number 1. It is 3.5 ounces on each one. And what else did I write down? Oh, they're 100% acrylic. The wording on these is super duper tiny, so I wrote it down. Make sure I get these the right direction for you. There you go. And they have, I want to say 12 or 14 different styles of these. Okay, aren't they fun? I can't wait to work on these. I actually have a pattern I'm going to do that's like a puppet bath mitt that I'm going to do with this. I think you're really going to like it. So I'm excited about these. These are going to be fun. And I did see them at Michael's and Joann's already, okay? And they also have a new one called Croquet that I haven't received yet. And I'm looking forward to getting some of those. They're really pretty. Lots of sparkle going through it. But these are amigurumi, I think is the way that's pronounced. And it just means stuffed animal. And it's specifically to make those little stuffed animals with. All right? And I'm getting ready. I'm working on a video because I've had a lot of questions about when you make a stuffy or a softie or stuffed animal or an amigurumi, a lot of times the stuffing shows through. And so I've got a couple of things of different ways that you can make a pillow form or another way of stuffing an item to put inside so that the stuffing doesn't show through. And I'm getting ready to do a video on that because we're getting ready to start our spring crochet along. Now, the spring crochet along is going to start April 1st, and it's just going to run through April 5th. It's just going to be 5 days, and we're going to make a mama chick and her babies. Isn't this cute? And the thing about this is it is stuffed. And so I'm going to show you how to make a pillow form and how to make one that fits whatever you're making, as well as the little tiny ones. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the video on how to make the pillow forms first, and then on Monday we're going to do the baby chicks, and then Tuesday through Friday of that week we're going to make mama chick. Okay, so mark your calendars, and you can see she's just spring colors. You can use whatever colors that you want. Doesn't matter. You can use solids, variegated. It's going to be all done with worsted weight number 4 Red Heart Super Saver yarn. So you can collect those up. You can see it doesn't take too much. All right. So the actual crochet along is going to start April 1st and run through April 5th. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The video on the stuffing, how to make pillow forms and stuffy forms, is going to be the Friday before. Thursday or Friday before. I don't have my calendar up here with me. I should have brought it up. But it'll be before. That way we will have it already understanding of how that's going to work. And what I'm going to do with that pillow form videos, I'm going to show you how to make a square. I'm going to show you how to make a weird shape. And then I'm going to show you how to make the little one. So it's going to have 3 different things in that one video. And it'll help a lot because I don't think about it because I know how to do it already. And I think others do. And it's just because I've been doing this sort of thing for so many thousands of years. Over 40 years. It's like 43 years now. And so I don't think about it. And I know there's a lot of new crocheters and some that have just never really made it stuffy. And so I want it to be easy. I want you to enjoy it and have fun. I don't want you to be frustrated. All right. So that's what our crochet along is going to be. So get ready for Mama Chick and her babies. All right. So set her down. And then we did 3 new patterns this week. And I wasn't going to do any more St. Patrick ones this year, but I had a request. It was kind of funny. If you watch the video, I talked about this a little bit. Let me clear my throat real quick. Adorable cup. Well, anyway, a friend of mine who's been crocheting for many, many, many years remembered that I did, she called it a leprechaun, Lucky Charms coaster. And she said, are you going to do a video for the Lucky Charms coaster? I can't remember how to do it. And I'm like, which one's the Lucky Charms? You know, because I'm thinking rainbows and clovers. And I knew I'd already done some of those things. And she said, no, it looks like a leprechaun. I'm like, oh, you're talking about my Lucky Leprechaun coaster. And so that's what we did this week. It's a pattern that's been out there forever. And we did a video for it. He's kind of silly and it's really super simple. And if you're a beginner crocheter, this is a great pattern for you. Just to learn how to crochet double crochets in a circle. His hat's done in single crochets. Simple, easy shells for the beard and then embroidery everything else on. And you can make these are big. I think they measure 4.5 by 5. So it can fit a nice big beer stein, you know, if you're having a big Irish party. So anyway, we did that this week. Super fun. You can make them out of acrylic or cotton, whatever you prefer. And you know, when it comes to coasters, you can do acrylic yarn, you can do cotton yarn. It's really just a preference. As far as all coasters go, cotton is great if you're going to do something that's going to sweat and you want the cotton to absorb the sweat so it doesn't get on your wooden surfaces. But acrylic is fine also if you're just wanting to, like if you're going to put a hot cup of coffee on a coaster, acrylic is fine because it doesn't sweat. And you're wanting to protect that wood or metal or whatever the surface is underneath. So if you're just using it for protection or just for fun, because you can make a bunch of these and string them up everywhere for decoration. Or you know, just throw them all over the table or whatever. But yeah, it's really, really just a preference of what you prefer and what you're going to use the coasters for. And that goes for any kind of coaster. It's just a preference. All right. I'm going to move this down so I can see if anybody else popped in here. I see Joni, Teresa, Ruby, Aurora, Cheryl, Missy, Jane, Ruth, Lisa, Ryan, Jackie, Pat, Michelle, Jackie, Julie. Boy, we got a bunch in here today. Tiffany. Let's see if there's anybody I didn't catch. All right, Carol. All right. Anyway, I see a lot of you talking to each other. I like that. Answering each other's questions. That's what this is all about. Chatting, getting to know each other that loves crochet and yarn. I love that. All right. Now, we did also this pattern here. And what this is, I wrote this pattern actually for Red Heart. Oh, goodness gracious. 3 or 4 years ago. And I only had the 3 sizes. Oops. The 3 sizes. Preemie, newborn, and 3-month. Well, I got so many requests for the next size up, which is the 6-month. So what we did is we updated the pattern. And I corrected some things in it that I thought, you know, wording. Sometimes wording can be, let's see, there we go. Wording can be difficult. And because we don't all think the same. you know, I may think that it makes sense, and then my tester comes back and goes, you know, Sarah, that doesn't make sense. And so we all work together and try to make it so everyone can understand it. I added some extra pictures, and then of course we did a brand new video for the bonnets. And this is a really simple bonnet, and it makes a really great little bonnet. Really easy. And this one, the tiny one, anytime you make a pattern that is the preemie size, it almost always will fit your American Girl dolls. And you can add pom-poms or tassels. And of course, these are in bright colors. And you can do them in pastels, whatever you prefer. I've often had people make this one in white so they can use it for their christening, to go with their christening gown. And so they have lots of fun uses. There's 4 sizes: preemie, newborn, 3 months, and now 6 months added to it. The pattern's been updated on the blog as well as a brand new video. Alrighty. And then the other thing that we did, these are super fun. These are my little carrot pouches. This one I just stuffed with stuffing, and I tied it up, and we're going to use it in our play kitchen. But this one, I didn't. I stuffed it full of Easter eggs. You can put candies and goodies in here. You can also use it for a little gift bag. Add some nail polish or some makeup or a gift card. And it's a great addition to an Easter basket. And decoration. Make several and put it with some bunnies for your Easter dinner decoration. And the other thing that you can do is you can put your silverware inside and lay one on each plate at Easter. You know, if you're going to have a party or some friends over or something, it's just something that's lots of fun, has lots of great uses. And it's super easy. It's all stitched in double crochet, except the top, of course, single crochets and chains. And that's a pattern we did. It's an older pattern that I redid again. What we're trying to do, just in case you're new to my blog, when I first, or my videos as well, when I first started, I wasn't really trying to do video tutorials. I was just trying to answer some questions, help people out with some of my videos. And I started getting requests for tutorials. Or they'd say, this isn't a tutorial. And I'm like, no, it's just to answer that question that someone had, because they couldn't, because sometimes, you know, like I said, I say things one way in a pattern and maybe you don't understand it because we, you know, and not everybody thinks alike, right? All right, so what we're trying to do is take a lot of our patterns that we've already done where we just basically answered a question, or just it wasn't a good video. Maybe I didn't give you enough explanation or whatever. We're just updating the patterns and updating the videos so they're easier to view, easier to see. I'm doing more of a step-by-step and doing that for you. Because it's fun. I love doing the videos and I love seeing things that people make. And I find it's really kind of funny though, because YouTube is a weird place. It really is funny the way it is, because you know, the truth of the matter is I can't please everybody, and I really try to. You know, I try to have a written pattern, photo tutorial on the blog, you know, a pattern you can download on Ravelry. I try to have a video on YouTube, and sometimes that's still not enough. And so what I'm doing is just trying to do my very best to make everybody love crochet. It's really sort of frustrating to me if someone gets frustrated. And sometimes people will ask me about other people's patterns or their designs or something, and they'll ask me, can you do a video? And I always say, you know, if you are struggling with a pattern, number one, go talk to that designer. Write her an email or a note on. The best place to reach your designer is on Ravelry.com, because most of the designers are on Ravelry.com. And if they're not, a blog always has a comment section, and if that doesn't, you can email them. But always ask them first, because a lot of times it's just the way it's written, you know, like the way it's pronounced. And one thing you have to understand is that not all pattern designers write the same. When I was young, 40 something years ago when I first started. I started when I was about 15 or 16. And I checked out books from the library. Patterns were so complicated. There were a lot of abbreviations. There were a lot of things that were extremely complicated. And so when I started writing patterns, I decided that I didn't want things to be that complicated. I use some abbreviations, but I pretty much write a lot of stuff out. And I try really hard to give you as much information as I can. But I've gone to some videos and just into some blogs, and there's just so much information before the pattern starts that it's overwhelming. And so what we've tried to do, me and my testers, we have tried to give you enough information to help you, but not overwhelm you. And try to keep the patterns simple. And even if it's a more complicated pattern, I try to make it not so complicated. Because, like I said, I don't want people to be frustrated. I want them to love crochet. I want them to love yarn. I want them to love the whole process of crocheting, making something for yourself or for somebody else. And the look when you give it to somebody and they love it is just, or you've made something and you're wearing it, and the compliments that you get. You know, every time I wear something new to church or out to dinner, one time I even had on one of my great big Scrap Happy ponchos, and I think we were just at Applebee's or something. We were just getting salads, and I got probably 5 or 6 people walk by me and tell me that my poncho was beautiful. And it was just my Scrap Happy poncho. Scraps of all different colors of yarn that I'd put together into a poncho. And it was beautiful, and I do love wearing it, and it is very warm. But it's that feeling of knowing that your craft, your art is appreciated, right? And so that's why I tell people all the time, I'm checking see if there's, yeah, okay. So Tammy says she's a visual learner. I am too, sort of, but I'm more artsy. I can look at something and pretty much figure out how it's made. And Tina says she needs a written pattern, and that's normal. And you know what? Everybody is different. Some people like to go to the blog, print off the written pattern, and then follow it on YouTube right along with the video. Some people want pictures. Some people are bored to death by a video. And so everybody thinks differently, and everybody prefers different ways. And that's why I try to give you as many ways as I can to help you love crochet. All right? And you know, I say this all the time. I've said it probably 50% of my videos. I can't do what I love without you, because you do my patterns, you watch my videos, and I couldn't do it without all of you. And it just makes me feel so good that you love crochet and that you enjoy my videos, you enjoy the patterns. And Kimberly says, I'm just the opposite. Sometimes I don't understand what they're saying in the pattern. And that's true. And so that's why, you know, a lot of people struggle with that. Every pattern has abbreviations, but that's on a list. But when you go in the pattern and there's like tons of abbreviations and you've never heard of them, and you have to Google every abbreviation to figure out what the pattern means, it's frustrating. And so what I try to do with my patterns is give you a balance of some abbreviations and some written out. I also try to give you a little bit more of an explanation, a little bit more, stitch counts, those kinds of things that help you. But back to what I was saying about the designer. If you've purchased or you've downloaded a pattern and you're just not getting it or you're just not understanding it, always contact the designer. Designers want to help you. They want you to understand. And, you know, I had this one pattern that this one particular person was just really struggling with. And I sent it back to my testers, and she's like, the one I sent it to, she was like, I don't know. It reads just fine. I don't know what she's struggling with. And it ended up that, she just needed a couple more pictures. And so I went back through my pictures and I found a few more and I emailed them to her. And she said, you might word it like this. And she explained a little something. I thought, you know what? She's right. And so we designers like that because we want to know you're understanding what we're saying. And it was basically something like and or. You can do this, or you can do this and this. And those have two separate meanings, but it was confusing her. And so sometimes you all know what you need know how, how you want the pattern to flow. You see what it's doing, but the words don't make sense with the pictures or something. And so we as designers like that. And another thing is my testers are so used to me in the way that I do things that, we get kind of in a routine. And so it's kind of nice to have some outside information or viewpoints. All right. So if you're struggling, contact that designer and remember that kindness is always the answer. Don't always assume that you're wrong and don't always assume that the designer's wrong. Just say, not getting it, help me, because we want you to get it. We want you to get the pattern because we love to see our patterns in action. All right. So I didn't mean to sound preachy, but I want you to love crochet. I really, really want you to love crochet. It's one of those things that I think can bind the whole world together. It can crochet us together because it's something we all can love. It doesn't matter who you are, rich or poor. I have to tell you a funny story sometime about my granddaughter. We were talking about how God made all the people different. Some people are tall, some people are short, some people have darker skin, some people have lighter skin, some people have blue eyes, some people have, curly hair, straight hair. And she said, she calls me Oma. She said, Oma, some people have curly hair, some people have straight hair, and some people have crazy hair like you, Oma. And I had to laugh. She has such a tender heart, and I thought that was the funniest thing. She was serious. That day it had been windy and my hair was everywhere. Don't underestimate the heart of a child, that's for sure. But that's why I love crochet. It doesn't matter if rich or poor or any of those things. Crochet crochets us together. It binds us together in a community where we all can love and work with yarn and crochet and love crochet. So anyway, that's all I've got for you today. I told you I had a whole bunch of stuff. Be sure and check out those links that are under the video if you're interested in getting one of her cups or one of their cups. Like I said, I don't know if it was a man or a woman. I didn't bother to check, but I love the cup. It's gorgeous, quick shipping. And like I said, I'll put that link down there. And I want everyone to have a great week. Before I go, don't forget, next week on the 19th, we're going to reveal who is the winner of the great big giveaway for National Crochet Month next Tuesday in our live video chat. See you next week.